Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what do I think is going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on the show from time to time because I'm a big time fashion girl, so we got to spill the tea about that. If you're new to the channel, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. Well, last week I wasn't feeling great at all, and this week not much better, but I'm going to try and, you know, tunnel through in order for me to be able to tell you something about what happened this past week. Um, Again, this is, if you've been following my story at all, having a transplant and being a transplant survivor, you do go through a lot of ups and downs physically. So I want to say that that's exactly what's happening to me. I'm going through those ups and downs. So sometimes I don't feel that great. And, you know, I try and push past that in full transparency. But at the end of the day, I still wanted to be able to give something. So before we get into all things Y&R, just a couple of disclaimers. If you don't want to know what's going on, you kind of want to get caught up in your own, this may not be what you want to see or hear, but I am so grateful that you are here. And if I happen to not mention something in particular, it could be because I plumb forgot, or it really just wasn't newsworthy, so I didn't bother mentioning it. Is what it is, nature of the beast, that's what I like to call it. And lastly, if you do like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, it'd be so kind if you hit that like and subscribe button down below, and also that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video that I post here on Y&R For Life. And also, share, because sharing is caring. Okay, so at the beginning of the week, we saw Chelsea and Sharon at the coffee house. And of course, Chelsea's asking Sharon about Mariah. And that got into a little bit of a tricky conversation, if you will, because with whatever Chelsea was saying, it kind of made Mariah out to be the bad guy. Which, by the way, she was the bad guy. As much as her brain wasn't altogether there, I don't, I'm still on the fence. Do I give Mariah a pass or not? I just think Sharon probably should have been there more with Mariah than even with Noah. So, because Nick had Noah covered. So I just think that Sharon probably should have spent a little bit more time with Mariah so that she didn't fall over the deep end. But you know what? We can't do much about it at this point in time. So, of course, Sharon is a little bit on the defense. Like, this is Mariah, and the reason why she has gone off the deep end was because of Ian Ward coming back into our lives. And you know what? At this point, what are we going to do as it pertains to Ian Ward? Because again, he is alive. Are they going to wait months and months for him to pop up again? Or is he going to come back popping up like in Mariah's visions? Like, that thing is so confusing, but whatever. Okay, at some point in time, in had walked Nick. He's on his like crooked leg, if you will. That guy, oh boy. So Nick has been doing a lot of wincing. That's what he's been doing because he's in pain. And once again, why don't they just usher this guy right back off to the hospital? Because this guy's there jingling little pill bottles left, right, and center, talking about he's all out. Or he even said to Sharon at some point in time this week, oh no, I just keep a couple of them on hand just in case. The rest of them are at home. What? Why would you do that? Okay, Nick, you're apparently fooling a lot of people, but you're not fooling all of us viewers. Like, whatever. So yeah, Nick was like, can I get some water? And, Chelsea, of course, is looking at him like, are you all right? You're still in pain? What's going on? Sharon's giving him the side eye like, what? Eventually, Chelsea has to leave because she gets some sort of phone call from Connor. Okay. So, which leaves Nick there with Sharon, him giving his little cock and bull story again about these pills and what have you. And he's so, I guess, hurt physically and emotionally because of what's going on with Newman and this whole Billy and Phyllis. And you could just throw Kane in the mix too. I mean, that whole AI stuff is just, it's a whole set of mess. Just putting that out there. Okay, so of course Nick is on the war path. What's he gonna do? He was so much on the war path that he goes and busts into Billy's house and, unannounced, and was like, yeah, he has every right to be there. And what was funny was the words, the tongue thrashing that one another was getting. So Billy was like, bada bing, Nick, bada boom. Billy, bada bing, Nick, bada boom. That's what they were doing. I mean, at some point, Billy was like, what was it? That they might have to call the pound or something. There's a wounded dog. Oh boy. Yeah, those two were just going at it. And again, it's this whole thing about I'm going to crush you. And this is Nick telling Billy, like, you're not going to get away with this. We're going to crush you. Like, you better just revel in whatever right now. It's only going to be for a moment because, all hell's going to break loose and we're going to get back everything that you guys have stolen from us. Okay, do I believe this is going to happen? Yes, I do. Will it happen right away? No. They'll ride this storyline out for a little while. So yes, but my thing is, where the hell did Phyllis go? You didn't see her all week. No, how do you take over a conglomerate, if you will, called Newman, and you're MIA? Now, did Victor have her like kidnapped? Who knows? But the point is, she hasn't been there. Okay, company is in your name, but business operations aren't going on. Even Billy, how he's got Chancellor now. This guy just shows up at the office. Nobody's there. Nothing's going on. There's a couple of like picture frames in a box, and he's just like, I'm finally back home. Billy, you, this whole like, this was your right to have Chancellor because Mommy Dearest pulled it out from underneath you. If you recall, Catherine left Chancellor to Victor. Victor then sold it to Jill, and then Jill sold it back to Victor, who in turn gave it to Nikki. Nowhere on the docket was Billy. Nowhere. But whatever. Billy and his little sense of entitlement. Like, I know some people are like, yeah, give Billy the win, No. So sick and tired of Billy and his, Well, Victoria is fixing him something good. And you know what? Bravo to Victoria, because she is not taking none of this lightly. Not one bit of it. She went on to, I guess, say that Johnny and Katie have to go back to boarding school, and she did this behind Billy's back. Billy ends up finding out about it, and he's stone cold mad. But she's like, you're going to do what I say. Like, there's no way that you're not going to do what I'm saying. Because there's no way that I'm going to have my kids involved with this mess. No way, no how. So you know what? Okay, you better work that Mama Bear stuff, because I don't blame you. He's a madman. And look, he's so much a madman that even Sally Sally was warned by by Adam this week. And she was also warned by Nick this week, saying, you better steer clear of this guy because he's going to drag you down along with him. Well, that's pretty much, she just said, adios, Billy. You know what? I can't do this anymore because, as per Sally, Sally, was not enough for you, Billy. You just wanted more and more. And for me, you, Billy, you were enough. But I wasn't enough for you. Bravo, Sally, for seeing the light, because honestly, Billy was just going to drag you down to his level, and you don't want that. You don't need that. So what Billy had, this was last week, he had given her Newman Media and said he could roll it into Abbott Communications. She's like, what? Sally didn't want that. You know, say whatever regarding Sally, but she's not rolling that way. I'm assuming her character, when she was on Bold and Beautiful, that, yeah, she was like shady and the whole, again, I did watch Bold and Beautiful here and there like years ago, but then it kind of drifted off by the wayside. But yes, I remember her aunt, Sally Spectra, the original. Yes, she was shady, but it wouldn't fall far from the tree if this Sally Spectra was just as shady. So I think she was like that on Bold and Beautiful, so, but now that she crossed over to Young and the Restless, her little evil ways, which she's said numerous times, she's done with that. You know, she wants to be on the straight and narrow path. So Billy didn't really do her any favors by, you know, giving her Newman Media, because she didn't want that. Well, Billy, I don't know what to tell you. Now Sally has hired Audra as now her co-CEO, because Sally went and called Jill up and was like, your son, this is what he did. Jill's upset, but she trusts Sally at this point in time. So yes, Audra is now her co-CEO, and now they're going to rename the company to Spectra Charles Media, which I kind of think it has a ring to it. I like it. Now, I hope Audra doesn't muck this up, but anything's possible with Audra. She's a bit of a hothead, so who knows? Bringing it back. At some point in time, Sally did have a conversation with Adam about this whole Billy situation. Again, this is probably just prior to her breaking up with Billy. And again, Adam's like, look, again, you don't want to be around this guy when crap hits the fan. Like, no. You don't need to be collateral damage. Okay, fine and fair. The next thing you know, Adam, he finds himself over to Daddy-O's house, and he then says he's got some more information. He was just with Sally, and now the cat's out of the bag about Newman Media and how it circles back to Chancellor. Well, Victor's like, I don't care. I'm going to do everything. I always win. I'm going to do everything possible to win. Like, it's not, I'm never going to lose. And, you know, the way they write the show, Victor could never lose. It's never going to happen. Right now, he's lost, but it's not going to be long lasting, especially by the time Lily comes back. But whatever. So, yeah, it's this whole back and forth about who's crushing who. I mean, even Victor said to Kane at some point this week, like, you better find a way to basically fix all this. And of course, Kane's like, well, what am I to do? Like, there's nothing I can do. This is what Phyllis has done. Blah, 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 blah. He's like, I don't care. Figure it out. It's not my problem. Do it. So now Kane is trying to enlist Daniel into helping him. You know, will Daniel help him? Probably. But at the end of the day, good luck with where it comes to Phyllis. Just good luck with that. Just putting it out there. So yeah, it's a whole big sordid mess. We did see Mariah with Cricket. Now, of course, Mariah's sitting back going, wee, wee, wee. She's walking around with dark shades on. Like, she wants to be incognito. She doesn't want people to see her, because she's frightened as to, what people will say. And she doesn't like being able to be just walking around. Because what if she bumps into Abby and Devon and Dominic? Well, that's exactly what happened. She bumps into Abby and Dominic. And little Dominic, he's none the wiser. Oh, there's my hide and go seek friend. Wee! He starts talking to Mariah. I'm telling you, Abby just was like, Cricket, Christine, may I have a word, please? She's like, what is this person doing walking around? Like, are you kidding me with my son? Like, what? That's a mess. So then just Mariah had to just stand there and take it all. Just take it all. Talking about her like she's in third person. And I'm like, oh, well, you get what you get. So, yeah. I don't know what's going to become of that. But in my head, let her do a little bit of jail time. Because all they want to do is roll the defense that she's not well and put her into a psychiatric facility. We see how well that worked out for her. Maybe she needs a little hard time to set her straight. Because the psychiatric facility, they ain't helping nobody. Speaking of psychiatric facility, you got Crazy Claire. She's in LA with Holden. And she's trying to figure out what's going on with the art dealer that went MIA. And yeah, she's hit a little bit of a snag. And then I was laughing because she says to Holden, like, I don't really know you, that kind of thing. And, we've had some fun and I appreciated our time together. But, I'm going to say we're going to have to stop seeing one another. What? So you act like if you guys were a full-fledged couple. Even Holden said it at some point in time about he's seeing her. You guys dipsy doodle around the place, maybe choice meetings, having a little coffee, but like, you're not in a relationship. That's weird. So yeah, she just told him like, I don't trust you. And until I feel like she's gotten the truth, then she just can't trust him. Claire, that's probably one of the smartest things. Don't trust Holden. He is shady as I don't know what. He tries to act like he's all on the up and up, but he is so afraid of getting caught that he just looks guilty. So in my head, continue to be just the way you are, Holden, because you're just going to be by yourself, and let's just leave sleeping dogs lie where they may. Let's roll it back to Nick for a second here. Nick, at one point in time, this guy walks into the coffee house like he's got no issues. He's got a cane just in his hand, and he's singing pretty. That's because the guy took the fentanyl. This guy's so high. Oh boy. or the rockets, if you will, aka fentanyl. So yeah, Nick's there with that, and next thing you know, he's back to grimacing. I mean, can we just not let Nick be a druggie? Can we just cut that? Like, let that go. So, what else did we get? Yeah, Sharon and Noah are all concerned. They're all worried. Everybody's worried about Nick. You know what? You need to take the guy back to the hospital. Get some blood work done. You'll find out that he's on drugs, and get him the help that he really needs. At this point in time, what I will say is a spoiler alert, and this should be true, that Shamar Moore, who played Malcolm Winters, he should be back on the show. Now, how long he's going to be on the show for, that I don't know. Him and Vivica Fox. She played, I believe the name was Samantha. I think it was Samantha. Years and years and years ago. She should be back on the show as well. Again, I thought, I have to believe it when I see it, but I did see him on set, so yeah, he should be back. I think maybe in the springtime. I'm not sure, but look out for Shamar Moore, at least for him to be back on the show. Probably to, I don't know, rescue Lily with all this craziness. Who knows? It would be great if he picked back up his camera and became like a photographer again. That would be cool. Remember he learned from what was his name? Blade? That's who he learned from. Yeah, I remember that. Blade was a good guy. I liked him. But yeah, that was pretty much the week. We did see Nathaniel come in. He was with Victoria and Devon. He was more like the little supporting actor, supporting Victoria on her quest regarding Billy, helping Devon with, how he felt about little Dominic. He was even with Jack concerning the whole Billy and Victoria situation. So he really didn't do too much except kind of be like, yeah, do this. I support you. Way to go. That's probably about the extent of Nathaniel this week. Yeah, so what can I say? That was pretty much the week in a nutshell. I can only hope that Nick gets the help that he needs sooner than later, and that I think this week Phyllis should be back, and who knows what's going to happen where that's concerned. Yeah, so if you stuck around to the end of this video, I appreciate your time. I love you lots. Again, I'm not feeling the best, but I hope you gathered something. If you weren't able to watch it this past week, that at least I was able to give you some information of what occurred. So hoping that I feel much, much better next week. And yeah, we'll see where this Y&R bumpy ride takes us. So you take care. And once again, if you like this type of content, you like what you see, you like what you hear, be so kind to hit that like and subscribe, and also the bell notification, and also share. Why? Because sharing is caring. At least I like to think so. And we will see what happens next week. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.